Do I go to the inspection? How many think yes? Absolutely. Need to be there. Need to be there to help my client.
Wouldn't they ask you?
Nope, I'm busy.
No. They will ask you, Renee, because they like you, they know you, they're comfortable with you.
I have one to bid.
Don't go. You let them know, I understand you have the inspection. My broker, that son of a gun, he told me if I go, I'm going to get in big trouble because the inspection's between you and your inspector, and I don't want to interfere with that. He's the professional. I'm not an inspector. I don't know anything about the condition of the house.
What if I have to let them in? Sometimes they can't.
No. We don't use that inspector. If they don't have a Supra key box, those inspectors we do not use.
Right.
So the old, hey, I need you to open the house for me, we don't do. If you're not professional enough to have a Supra key card, I sure as heck don't want you doing an inspection. No reason to be there. What I want to do is get that inspection done, and then I want to get a copy of it. Okay? And then I want to ask them, what did the inspector say? Did everything go how? Okay. Did everything go good? I don't want to go, hey, what was wrong? George, if I call them up and say, hey, you got the inspection, I got a copy of it, man, look at all this stuff. We really need to get somebody to fix all this stuff. Is that my job?
Not for you to decide.
Not your job. That's your opinion. Nobody asks for your opinion on an inspection, especially. That thing comes back, all I have to do is say, hey, everything go okay on the inspection? Because I'm hoping he says, yep, everything's fine, and we just fly on by. No amendment needed. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm on to my next deal. I'm not worried about this one. He said everything was good. Now, if I'm sitting here writing amendments on every single one because I'm instigating it by getting opinion, which I'm not an inspector. So what I want is my client and the inspector to decide that. Okay? And then what I will do is get a copy of it, and they'll say to me typically is, hey, the inspector told me there's some concern about that air conditioning unit. He said it's not operating at the proper temperature differential and we should have it looked at. How do we do that? How do we do that? Raise your hand if you know.
Write up an amendment to have him have a licensed person take a look at it.
Yeah. And go a step further, guys, and look back to your manuals. There should be an example of this. Go a step further. And you're exactly right. What I want to do on an HVAC, if it's not operating correctly, it's a big enough unit, that's a big enough system, that could be a lot of money. Could be a lot of money. So I don't probably want to say, hey, let's ask him for $200 in a repair allowance. Because that thing could be $2,000. That's a big enough issue. Always look at heating, air conditioning, roofing, and what else as your big three? Foundation. If you don't know the big three, foundation, roofing, air conditioning. Those are your big three. Okay, so if one of those is wrong, probably don't want to do an allowance. Okay? Now, if the GFCI ground fault interrupts are a little messed up here, if the water heater is not 18 inches off the ground because the house was built in 1964 and it wasn't to code then, those are things I'm not going to worry about. I may be able to get some money for my buyer, so I'm going to negotiate on their behalf there. If, again, my buyer directs me that they want something done. If they say everything's fine, I'm not going to encourage them to go get something else. They're fine with it. Move on. Do what your client wants.